Somewhere in the hills of southeastern Turkey, buried under 20 feet of earth, lies a structure that should not exist. A site older than Egypt, older than the wheel, older than writing, cities, pottery, agriculture, older than everything we've ever used to define civilization. Göbekli Tepe, a temple built by prehistoric humans who, according to every history book, weren't supposed to know how to build anything. And yet they carved 10-ton pillars, arranged them in perfect circles, decorated them with symbols we still can't read, and then, just when the work was done, they buried the entire thing on purpose. Why? Who built it? What knowledge did they have? And what forced them to erase their own creation from history? Tonight we investigate the most impossible archaeological site in the world, a discovery that threatens to rewrite human history from the ground up. Welcome to Göbekli Tepe, the place that breaks the timeline. The discovery that changed everything. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd named Shavak Yildiz walked across a barren hill. His sheep scattered, the ground felt strange, and his foot struck something hard. A stone, but not just any stone. Carved, shaped, rounded, man-made. A year later, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt arrived. He took one look at the stone sticking out of the dirt and said a sentence that would shake archaeology. This is no farm, this is a temple. The site was dated, not to 2,000 years old, not even 5,000, but over 11,000 years old, more than twice as old as Stonehenge, more than 7,000 years before the pyramids. If this date was real, then the entire story of human history was wrong, because Göbekli Tepe wasn't built by farmers. There were no farms, no villages, no metal tools, no wheels, no livestock. These people were hunter-gatherers, and hunter-gatherers do not build temples. They don't organize labor. They don't carve megaliths. They don't plan architectural complexes. They weren't supposed to be capable of any of it. And yet, here it was, massive stones, engineered enclosures, symbol literacy, art, religion, astronomy. Göbekli Tepe didn't just rewrite the timeline, it shattered it. Chapter 1, the site that defies logic. Archaeologists uncovered more than pillars. They uncovered design. Enclosure D, the heart of the mystery. At the center of Göbekli Tepe is a circle of T-shaped pillars, some weighing between 10 and 20 tons. Two giant central pillars dominate the middle, like guardians or gods. These aren't random stones. They're carved in 3D relief. Foxes, snakes, vultures, boars, lions, scorpions, each symbol precise, intentional, repeated. The pillars are arranged in perfect geometry. And remember, this is before math, before engineering, before cities. How do nomads move 20-ton stones? You need manpower, leadership, planning, logistics, coordinated labor-food surplus. But in 9,600 BCE, humans were still roaming in small groups of 20 to 50 people. To move a stone this size, you'd need hundreds. So where did they come from? How did they organize? Who convinced them to build something like this? Nothing about this site fits the story we've been told about human progress. Chapter 2, the impossible carvings. Let's talk about the carvings, because this is where the mystery gets darker. Precision without metal tools. These pillars weren't chipped with stones. They were shaped with knowledge, an understanding of leverage, stone density, sculpting artistic symbolism. The carvings are 3D reliefs, not scratches. Some show animals in motion. Others show abstract symbols repeated across multiple enclosures, suggesting an early form of writing or a communication. The vulture stone 1 carving stands out. A vulture holding what looks like a decapitated human. Below it, a scorpion. Next to it, celestial symbols that some researchers believe represent a specific arrangement of stars around 10,950 BCE, matching a known cosmic event. If true, this means Göbekli Tepe wasn't just a temple. It was an observatory, a cosmic message, a record of something catastrophic. And here's the unsettling part. The symbols look consistent, intentional, and widespread, meaning they weren't random drawings. They were knowledge. But from who? And passed down from where? Chapter 3, The Burial. Everything we've discussed is already unbelievable. But the most shocking detail is this. Göbekli Tepe wasn't destroyed by natural disaster. It wasn't abandoned. It wasn't taken over. It was buried deliberately, carefully, systematically. Tons of dirt were brought in to cover it, not collapse it. It was entombed like a secret. Ask any archaeologist. You don't bury something unless you fear it, or you're protecting it, or you're hiding it from whoever comes next. Why would a prehistoric people go through the effort of burying the largest sacred site on Earth? Were they protecting something, hiding something, or running from something? And what happened to the people who built it? They vanish from the archaeological record almost instantly. This is where the investigation turns from strange to haunting. Chapter 4, The End of the Ice Age. To understand Göbekli Tepe, you need to understand the world it was born into. Roughly 12,000 years ago, Earth was in chaos. The Ice Age, a world of glaciers, mammoths, and human tribes, was ending. Temperatures rose so fast that entire ecosystems disappeared within a generation. Sea levels rose by 120 meters, drowning coastlines and any settlements that once existed. But then, something stranger happened, a sudden freeze. As if someone had flipped a global switch, the planet plunged back into near glacial conditions for another 1,000 years. The Younger Dryas humanity was caught between fire and ice. Mass extinctions happened, food sources vanished, tribes scattered. The world felt apocalyptic, and then as suddenly as it began, the freeze ended. Temperatures shot upward again. Megafauna died off, and human societies were forced to reinvent themselves in real time. This wasn't a stable era. This was a survival simulation. So here's the question. How does a world of starving hunter-gatherers suddenly find the time, resources, and knowledge to build Göbekli Tepe? According to the standard model of history, they shouldn't, they couldn't, they didn't, and yet they did. Which means either our timeline is wrong or someone had knowledge left over from a world before the chaos. This is where the investigation shifts from archaeology to memory. Because Göbekli Tepe wasn't just built. It was built after a global catastrophe by people who seemed to know exactly what they were doing. Chapter 5. The Civilization Reset Theory. Göbekli Tepe forces us to confront a theory that mainstream history avoids. What if humanity had a forgotten chapter? A civilization before civilization? Not a high-tech society with flying cars, not aliens building pyramids. Something simpler, but still advanced enough to organize labor track stars, carve stone, create symbolic systems, build megalithic structures. Imagine a world at the end of the Ice Age, where tribes shared knowledge across vast distances, where the smartest groups passed on astronomy, engineering, and myth. Where certain people understood the sky, the seasons, and the cycles that shaped the planet. Now imagine that world collapsing. Floods, famine, firestorms, ocean rise, chaos. Much of humanity disappears. But a few survivors, teachers, shamans, engineers, astronomers, carry fragments of knowledge into the new world and pass it to the next generation. Göbekli Tepe begins to feel less like an invention and more like a remembrance. A monument built not by beginners, but by people trying to recreate something they lost. That would explain the sudden sophistication, the symbols with no known origin, the astronomical alignments, the megalithic engineering, and the decision to bury it. Later, Göbekli Tepe might be a memory, fossilized in stone, a message from before the reset. Chapter 6: Forbidden Archaeology. Let's step into the part of the investigation that archaeology hates discussing. Göbekli Tepe didn't just challenge the timeline, it threatened it. Because once you accept Göbekli Tepe is real, you have to accept that the first temple came before the first farm, religion came before civilization, engineering came before agriculture. Abstract thinking existed long before recorded society. This flips everything upside down. So what happened? Denial. For years, institutions dismissed the site. Funding was limited. Excavation was slow. The implications were ignored. Some archaeologists even suggested it was a ritual gathering site for simple hunters, ignoring the scale, geometry, engineering, and complexity. It wasn't until the 2010s, when satellite imagery and newer dating techniques confirmed the impossibility, that Göbekli Tepe finally broke through. But even today, academia tiptoes around it. Why? Because the site suggests human beings were capable of far more, far earlier than anyone believed. Which means every textbook, every assumption, every neat story we tell about progress falls apart. Göbekli Tepe isn't just a site, it's an embarrassment to the official timeline. It raises questions no institution wants to answer. And the deeper you dig, the more uncomfortable it gets. Because Göbekli Tepe wasn't the only site, only the first one we unearthed. There are others still buried. Chapter 7: Uncomfortable Theories. Now we enter the part of the investigation that keeps historians, archaeologists, and researchers arguing in conferences and backrooms. 3 major theories exist, and none of them are comfortable. Theory 1: a forgotten civilization. A precursor society, intelligent, organized, wiped out by an extinction event, leaving behind fragments of knowledge. This explains the sudden jump in sophistication, shared symbolic systems, megalithic engineering, intentional burial, but it means humans were complex far earlier than anyone admits. Theory 2: catastrophic memory. Göbekli Tepe as a post-apocalyptic archive, a monument built by survivors to preserve a knowledge map. The stars warn the future, honor the dead, rebuild social identity. The vulture stone could be a memorial to the younger Dryas catastrophe itself. Theory 3: ritual center of prehistoric priests. A small elite group, shamans, astronomers, knowledge keepers, guiding tribes and coordinating construction. Think of it as the oldest scientific institution, the first religious order, the earliest organized leadership class. That theory is the most accepted academically, but it still admits something extraordinary. Someone had knowledge far beyond their time. Which theory fits? Truth is, all 3 overlap, and none contradict the others. Göbekli Tepe might be a warning, a memory, a monument, a ritual center, and a clue to a civilization that came before, all at once. So what does it really mean? If Göbekli Tepe is what it appears to be, then human intelligence didn't evolve slowly, it surged. We rebuild more than we invent. Civilization may rise, collapse, and rise again. Our ancestors were not primitive, and they understood the stars, seasons, and cosmos. They left messages we still fail to understand, and we may be the ones who forgot, not the ones who discovered. Göbekli Tepe isn't just a window into the past. It's a mirror reflecting a version of humanity we lost, a civilization we barely remember, a story buried under earth and time, a warning carved in stone. And somewhere beneath the hills of Turkey, most of Göbekli Tepe is still underground. We've only excavated 5%. Imagine what lies beneath the rest. A forgotten world, a forgotten people, a forgotten truth, buried, waiting,